I got excited with the two new products from Violette Fr, the eyeshadows and the blushes. So I got a matte eyeshadow to test the formula before committing to getting more. And I got one of the blushes. I'm going to compare it with the previous one, the Bisou Blush. And I also got the Bisou Balm in the shade Betise, which I'm going to compare with the new Hourglass product, the Blur Balm. Hi, my name is Marisa, welcome. Let's dive straight into the application, which for me will be my first experience with products from Violette Fr, and I will give you my opinion on them as I'm applying them and seeing how they perform on my skin. I have already done my base. I use Natasha Denona Eye Glam Foundation in the shade N2, and I have to say at the moment this is the foundation that I'm using the most because the shade is perfect for my face. I have the hair brow from Kosas on my brows. The concealer is the House Labs in shade 11, and on my eyelids I have the Liquid Silk eyeshadow in the shade Page from Lisa Eldridge. This is the lightest one, and it's the one that I use on a day-to-day basis just to camouflage the small capillaries and veins that can be seen through my eyelids. I have also a very lightly, almost indistinguishable, a mixture of these two shades, and this is the Natasha Denona Mini Eye Sculpt Cool Tone Palette. I use this mixture of shades on my crease, or sometimes I use the Silk liquid eyeshadow in the shade Sylvia, which is also a very good one, a very good choice for my crease. But for the life of me, I don't know where I've placed it. So, Natasha it was. So, let's start with the eyeshadow, and I'm going to use my small finger. I'm going to look to the mirror, okay? Well, I have to say that this is very easy. I'm going to place the most next to the lashes and then pull the shadow upwards towards the crease. This is super easy to apply. I don't want to place a lot of color in the inner part of my eyelid because my eyes not only are very deep set next to my nose, but they are also a little bit too close. So I like to fake the proportions of my face, placing the most of the color on the exterior of the eye. And I think this is it. I'm going to use just a small brush to buff here and clean. I like this color. I'm not quite sure how it looks on me when I start to edit this footage. I will have my final conclusion, but I have to say I like this color. Especially now for summer, for these stupid hot days that we are having all over Europe, and of course also here in Portugal. It's a fresh color. Okay, let's start on the other eye with the brush. Yeah, you can also definitely apply with the brush, it's equally easy, but I think it's faster with the fingers. I'm going to use this brush from Natasha Denona, dual-ended, and I'm going to try to apply a little bit on the bottom eyelid, although I think that this shade is not the most flattering for me because of all the blue tones that I have on my eyelids. And now, just like Anne Beauty 101 uses to say, decisions, decisions, I have to choose an eyeliner, and I want to use one of the eyeliners that I got from Lisa Eldridge and have not had the chance to apply here, and it will be either Bettina or Lilac Time. Let's see. So I'm going to swatch the eyeshadow on my wrist. I'm going to apply Lilac Time side by side, and it definitely makes a contrast. And let's see Bettina. I don't know. I think I'm going to try both and see the one that I like the most. Lilac Time first. Hey, it's cool. I like to see it. So this is the final eye look. What do you think? I think I have not used color in my eyes like this more than 1 year ago, at least, but I'm really enjoying it. The eyeshadow is exactly as Violette says in her videos and on Instagram. It's a cream to powder, and it feels silky smooth on the fingers, like a putty, because you can feel it's not a dry powder. It feels almost like a cream, but not as emollient as a normal cream. And it could not be easier to apply on the eyelids, even on eyelids like mine. So I only got one eyeshadow to test because I wanted to see how the formula behaved on my eyelids first. Was not keen on expending a lot of money and then finding out that the eyeshadows didn't last, or that they moved on the eyelids and accumulated on my eyelids, on the folds. So I'm going to test this one out during the day, see how it wears, if it fades, if it moves, and I will tell you below on the description of this video if the test was positive or negative. If okay, I will definitely try the other formula, the one that has a little bit of shimmer, and I would also like to try one of the shades that Violette uses to do normal smoky eyes, Café au lait, which is the lightest one, or Bois Brûlé, I think it's the name, because so far, as far as I can see, these are definitely mature skin friendly. Let's go now to the blushes, and I'm really keen to test them out and to check one against the other. My expectation is that I'm going to enjoy to use the new Plume Blush, because it's exactly the formula that I liked best on my textured skin. It's the cream to powder. I really appreciate that kind of formula more than I normally do balms. Let's start with the first one. In terms of formula, it feels more creamy, more emollient than the eyeshadow. I'm sure, I think that was to be expected. The swatch is not the most flattering for the product, but it really behaves beautifully on the skin. I have one brush here from Wayne Goss that has, it's smaller, but it has a similar shape to the brush from Violette. I was more keen in getting products instead of getting the brush. This one is a little bit tinted, but it's clean. So I'm going just to 2, 3. No, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Yep. It definitely picked, the brush picked the blush. And you can see it on the camera as well. And it pairs perfectly with the eyeshadow and the eye look. I'm going to, I'm trying to follow the advice that Violette says on her how to apply the product, and it's definitely working. And now I'm going to put a little bit more on this here on the center. I think this blush is going to last a lifetime because it's so pigmented, you only need a little bit. I really like this. I had a feeling that I was going to like the formula and the color, and I absolutely do. Do you see it? I'm not going to apply more. I'm sure that the color could be humped up, but for my skin tone, this is perfectly fine. It translates as a very cool pink on the skin. Really cool, which is great. Okay, let's try the other one on the other side of the face. And I chose the shade Aissa, and it was a little bit deliberate because the shade that I have to compare the Bisou Balm is Betise, which is a reddish, a terracotta reddish berry, but it's warmer than the shade that I have on the Hourglass balm, which is definitely a cool mauve. So I think I'm going to pair the Hourglass with this blush, and I'm going to match the Bisou Blush in Aissa with the Bisou Balm in Betise. So I have here a small, my favorite Zoeva brush, the 110. I'm going to place a little bit on the brush and blend the product on the bristles here on the back of my hand. I forgot to say that I already had powder on top of the foundation, so this blush is going on top of powder, and it's going beautifully. Although it has the name balm, it doesn't feel nor looks as emollient as, for instance, the Lisa Eldridge balms that she released recently, the ones that are these ones that are for cheek and lips, the Velatura balm. This one has more shine. It's funny, the component is very similar, isn't it? The Lisa Eldridge is not oily at all, but the Violette is more matte, a natural matte. I like this shade, and I like the way that is applying on the skin. Although I find the powder blush, the Plume one, a more seamless application than the application that we get with this one. Not to say that this is difficult, not at all. I'm not a makeup artist, far from that. I have very textured skin and it's going super easy. It's just that although they are both very pigmented, The other formula is easier to build. It starts very lightly and we can build it slowly to our taste. This one, it goes stronger, faster than the Plume Blush. And definitely I can see on this side that it's a matte, and this, although it's very natural, it's a natural matte. It has some, not shine, not shimmer, not glitter. The skin looks a little bit more radiant. I mean, they are both wonderful products, I have to say. I like both of them. And in my case, it's not a question if I like one more than the other. It's when I apply them. So I know that the majority of brands like to sell cream blushes in the summer and powder in the winter. But I think for me, for my skin, and for the country where I've spent the majority of my life, Portugal, which is extremely hot in 3/4 of the year, I feel it makes much more sense to use powders, or at least creamed powders, in the summer and use more emollient balms in the winter when the skin is drier. So I pick according with that idea, with that need that I have. This one will definitely be more appropriate for me on autumn and winter and beginning of spring, and the Plume Blush will be perfect for late spring, summer and beginning of autumn when the days are very warm. Let's just try to use this on the lips to see how it works. The product has a slight fragrance, but it's very nice, not strong at all. It's not a gourmand fragrance, it's a more flowery one, but it's not too much. And I am definitely not very keen on fragrance in cosmetics, so I like this color. Very bright, and as Lisa Eldridge uses to say, it's very enlivening. Oh, this one has a brush on the other side and I didn't use it. Well, I don't want to use it anyway, but just for you to know, it has a brush on the bottom. It doesn't say that it can be used on the cheeks and on the lips, but I feel that it can definitely be. It looks great. I'm not sure how long it will last, considering that it's a balm, but I love the color. And it feels great on the lips. Not very sleepy, not very slippery. It also has some hug to it. I thought that I was going to need to remove the blush to apply the lipsticks, but I think that I will manage with both. So let's start with Bisou Balm from Violette. As I said before, in the shade Betise. Looks like this. In the camera it looks red, at least for now. It looks to me on the visor of the camera red, but it's described by Violette as a warm berry. And Violette says that the Bisou Balms are a sheer matte lipstick meets hydrating balm that delivers the iconic bouche mordue or just bitten lips in one step, and it gives a soft focus blurred finish that feels effortlessly French. Well, I have already tried the lipstick before. It definitely gives a blurring and a soft focus finish. I'm not so sure about the hydrating part. It doesn't dry the lips. I don't feel that it increases the hydration of the lips, but that is my experience. You see the difference? That was 2 passes. The shade is very close to my natural lip color, and what you feel when you pass the lipstick is like a very thin layer of silicones are placed on the lips, and that is what gives the soft focus and blurring effect. I'm going over the vermilion border. I think it's very flattering. Although it doesn't have any little bit of shine or satin, it really gives that soft focus finish. The silicones in the formula almost hug the lips and feel the a little bit the nooks and crannies of the lips, and they smooth out and disguise a little bit the creepiness of the lips. It's very flattering. And I know that you are supposed to apply 1-2 times at most, but it feels good to pass more times. So this is how Bisou Balm Betise looks on me. I really like this lipstick and this formula. I can really see me using this on a day-to-day basis to go to work, even with this shade, because I was very heavy-handed, as you saw on the application, but with 1 or 2 passes, this is my natural lip color, only a little bit livelier. Please leave it below in the comments what you see, and let's test now the other one from Hourglass and see how it compares. Here it is. This is the same component that the other product from Hourglass, the Phantom Volumizing Glossy Balm. It has a click up mechanism, but it doesn't go down. It was released in 5 shades. I got this one, which is called Whisper, and it's described by Hourglass as a pink mauve, and it definitely is. As you can see, my natural lip color is quite dark. In fact, as I've been aging, my lip color has become darker as the skin on the lips becomes thinner and thinner. And it's, if you know the shades of Lisa Eldridge lipsticks, my natural lip color is something between blush, Velvet Blush, and Velvet Sorcery. It's not as lively as Velvet Blush, but it's not as brownish as Velvet Sorcery. Something in between. This shade is very close to it. And just like the Bisou Balm from Violette, it's very silicone based. It's sheer in terms of pigment, but you can definitely build it up. It's lighter. Violette was a berry, warm berry. This is a pink mauve, and I can definitely see the difference. This one is lighter. So if I had to compare, I would say the Violette Betise has the same shade as my vermilion border, and the Hourglass has the same shade as the interior of my lips, which is lighter. It's a lighter shade than the vermilion border. In terms of formula, as I said, they are very similar, but I feel that the Hourglass, and this is the second time I'm applying this lipstick, and the sensation is the same. I think that the Hourglass glides with more ease than the Violette. I have not compared the formulas, but if I had to guess, I would say that the Hourglass has more silicones in it. But the result is definitely the same. It gives a soft focus, a blurring effect to the lips. I wouldn't say that either the Hourglass or the Violette are hydrating. For me, for a lipstick to be hydrating, it has to be emollient. They have to have some type of oils or butters to really hydrate the lips. And I don't really get that feeling with this type of lipstick. That said, they are not drying at all, and you can slip your lips between each other, and they do not tug, they do not grip, they slide. Since I'm trying this, it's the second time, but I did not give it a proper wear time. I cannot say at the moment which one is the most long wearing, but I'm going to test it during this weekend, and I'm going to place in a pin comment on the description of the video. Or you can also ask me on my Instagram or on the comments of the video, and I will be glad to tell you. I have to say that I am super happy with this tryout, with my first experience with the Violette Fr products. All of them worked beautifully. I'm super happy with this colorful eye look. I have checked now since I have applied it 2 hours ago, and I don't see any creasing or moving of the eyeshadow. I will place below in the comments if there is any change to that. And yeah, major success. Major success. Sorry. And now I'm definitely curious to try the other products from Violette, namely the Nectar Lip and the other formulas and shades from the eyeshadows. So I totally recommend these products, and if you are not able to get them immediately, wait until the big sales, the Sephora ones for instance, and get some of the products to try out. They are definitely worth it, especially for mature skin. And this is it. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. And if you did like it, please give it a thumbs up, hype it, and leave a comment below if you liked the look that I got with the products. And until next time, bye.